Bonjour peeps. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to Star Nation's organization's main fan page here on Facebook. And the official name of it is Star Nation's magazine, radio network, and publishing business page. And today is Friday, November 16th, and this live stream is something I do every day. You see George in the background? Wait, there he goes. There's George. And this live stream is based on the card draws that I do in the morning, and it's something I also share on our business Instagram account. And so, yeah, welcome. It's a cloudy, cold day here, but it's Friday. How can it be any worse, right? It's good. It's a good day. It's Friday. Cindy's with us. Cindy Ferris, hello. Stephanie's in the house. Hello there. Ann's with us too. Yeah, it does feel like romper room, doesn't it? And Stephanie says, waiting on PT to start, so we'll be dropping off shortly. Okay, well, I'm just glad you were able to drop in and say hi. And Cindy is saying, hi, George. And there, let's see, get his mind this way. Yeah, there he is. And he's looking out the French door out to the deck. And then about a block or so from here, he's looking at our house, at our home. And so I'm sure he's probably wondering where Paul is, because he and Paul are quite attached. Yeah. Hi, Ann. Hi, Ann. And let's see, who else is Roberta? Hello, Roberta. Roberta, I do know that there's a message for me waiting at the inbox on this page. So I'm going to get to it right after the show, okay? I'll give you an answer for that. And Cindy says, is George going to sing today? He might. He just might. We never know. Jackie's here with us. Hello, Jackie. So good to see you guys in the live chat. And thank you for being with me, this afternoon. It's a good Friday afternoon, isn't it? Yeah, I have tea today. Just regular tea. Nothing fancy. I already had my cup of coffee I had a meeting this morning with Stephanie and drank my coffee then. So this is tea. Yum. Good stuff. So Friday, the day before, it's some people probably wouldn't enjoy this, but it's the day before the Wisconsin gun hunting season. And, it'll be very busy tonight at the stores and the grocery stores and the gas stations and the hotels and that sort of thing. As people start coming in for the hunt, right? And I do come from a hunting family. I do. I grew up with it. It wasn't anything shocking to me, right? Because I used to hunt too. You couldn't be a part of a family member and not go hunting, at least for the gun deer season. Yeah, and it was, for me, it was more about the camaraderie with my brothers and the antics and, my dad, he actually treated it like a job, right? It was work. It wasn't pleasurable. We did not hunt for trophy deer and that sort of thing. It was meat on the table because that's how I was raised. We very seldom did we have beef. Maybe hamburger once in a while, but most of the time we were eating venison. And so, yeah, that's what I grew up with. And so this time of year I always have good memories about family gatherings for that opening weekend and laughing sometimes about memories about that. I had one brother who's since walked on, Paul Jr. My dad's name was also Paul. Get that. My dad's name is Paul. I had a brother named Paul, and I married a Paul. What was that about? but anyway, it was every year. Paul Jr. would be coming in from, because he lived in Madison or Milwaukee or something like that, bigger city, right? Much bigger city. And he'd be coming in like the night before, and he'd be, where's my this? Where's my socks? Where's my hat? Where's my back tag? Can't find my clip to the gun, right? And he was always having to get his hunting license that night. So they had to make a special trip someplace to go and purchase that back tag, that license for him. And yeah, so I miss him around this time of year. And he always made hunting fun, my brother Paul Jr. He'd always make my dad mad. always angry because he wasn't taking the hunt serious enough. And so a lot of times Polly and I would end up on the same drive or stands or, walking together, that kind of thing, and laughing. Yeah. So I kind of miss him around this time of year. He was a trained chef, my brother was. Yeah. Went to culinary school for it, and he was very creative chef. Yeah. Yeah, but he walked on when he was 51. And so it's been a while since we were together, and yeah, he's always helping me in spirit. He helped me find someone to cook for one of my retreat classes, and yeah, so he's very helpful on the other side. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Jackie's saying hello, Jackie. Hey, Irene's with us too. Good to see you, Irene, in the chat. Roberta says no worries about getting back there, but I will do it after the show. Rochelle's here. Good afternoon, Rochelle. Good to see you. And Polly Joe is with us too. Quick hi, and I am Polly Joe. Yeah. Hey, Polly Joe. I call her her full name when we're doing business stuff. But when she was here the last time, I really asked her, I think it was even on air, on a broadcast, I asked her if she'd ever been called PJ, because it was like, it was very easy for me to say that, to call her PJ. And yeah, and so we have those nicknames between us, right? Well, George just settled down. Yeah, he's underneath my table where he usually sleeps. A lot of times he'll put his head on my foot, so it kind of ties me to one spot unless I want to wake him up. So anyway, I just wanted to share that little piece with you about how this time of year reminds me of one of my brothers, and my husband Paul. When he came into the family over 40 years ago. He was kind of concerned about my four brothers, right? Because you put them together, and he said you put them together and they make a wall, right? And big guys, and so, but he fit right in because he's a hunter, and yeah. In fact, there were so many times that I didn't need to be there because Paul was there, and they would go off and do their own thing with the hunt. Yeah. So before we get started with the cards, I am going to take my phone, and I'm going to like and share the broadcast, the live stream, so that friends and friends, peeps, know that I am live streaming, right? Whoops. Yep, there we go. And so I just need to find it here. Here we are. And I am going to like and share it. And I'm going to share it to my timeline first, my news feed. And if you wouldn't mind doing the same thing, helping us out a bit, when we do the share like this, it really is very helpful for other souls, other people to find us, right? Because there's so much information coming out on social media, especially Facebook, that things get buried like really quickly. And so when we share it out, others can find us so much faster. And you can just share it to one friend. That's really helpful too. I'm live streaming and asking them to please join us. There we go. There's that one. And then I'm going to do it to the closed groups, the Star Nations Radio Network and the Academy. And I'm going to let them know that I'm live streaming. There we go. That works. Now I just have to make sure I get it to the right groups here. There, done. Done and done, as they say. There. Alrighty now. So he says, you pop up when I'm on FB. Oh, good. Yay. That's great. And Polly Joe shared, thank you. Thank you, Rochelle. I was actually realized something the other day. Somebody was asking me about this, that we were hard to find, right? Our shows were hard to find. And what I was thinking about doing was doing maybe on my next, I can't do it on the next show, the next Communications from Home. I don't know, either this live stream or maybe early next month. I'm going to do one where I'm going to have screenshots of where to click on on Facebook, on our main page or on any page really, to make sure that your settings are that you get our notifications and that we're seen first and not by default. When the default is on, you won't get our notifications. You probably won't even see them. And so, so we need to do that again. I did that, I don't know, probably close to a year ago, and I haven't done it again since. So I think it's time. It's a good time for a refresher, huh? And so that way the pictures, the screenshots will be there, and so you can always go back and do that. You can do that for any page that you like. Hopefully you'll do it for all of our fan pages for the live stream shows, but you can do that for any page. Yeah. Thank you, Roberta, for sharing. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. Good stuff when we do those shares. The cards that came today, we've had before. And it makes me, I know that when we get those cards that consistently come up again, is that it's like really being emphasized, right? And then that we truly cover as much about the essence of that card and what it could mean in different perspectives is a good way to put that. And also to cover it as much as we can in the four bodies that we have, right? We have our physical body, we have our mental body, our emotional, and our spiritual bodies, right? And so, yeah. So the first card that I drew this morning, meeting with my spiritual team, right? Thank you, Margaret. She says, hello, I've shared my name as Margaret X. Okay. All right. That's good. And Irene said she shared the show. Thank you so much, Irene. Cindy Lynn. Hey, Cindy Lynn's in the house. Good to see you. And Claudio. Oh, my goodness, Claudio. It's good to see you. It's been a long time. Claudio and I trained together with Drenville Melchizedek. And we're trained in Awakening Illuminated Heart. And so we both have taught classes on that. And yeah, so it's good to see you in the chat. Thank you for being here. Yeah, it's good that you're here with us. So the first card that came is this one. Earth Guardian, stay rooted and grounded. Stay rooted and grounded. And when we take a look at this card, the artwork, the color green definitely is prominent, right? And the tree in the background has that, I don't know, it almost looks like an archway, right? And in the third eye, looks like it's an emerald. It looks green. Of course, it could be a Prideaux, I suppose. And his staff has a dream catcher at the top, catching those dreams. Yeah, with feathers hanging off of it. Yes, yep, with feathers, green feathers. And if you take a look at the webbing on for the dream catcher, it reminds me of sacred geometry. It reminds me of the icosahedron. Let me see. It reminds me of the icosahedron, or the water, platonic solid. Yeah. The dream catcher, it does come from indigenous nations here on Turtle Island in the United States. It's one of those things that kind of carried across all of the nations and is really pretty much everywhere. I mean, they're in stores. They can get them in all kinds of shapes, ways, and forms. Some of them are made with wood, and for the circle. Others are made sometimes with metal. You can get them in many, many different ways. But the story behind the dream catcher really comes from the woodland nations, which is east of the Mississippi. And so we would be considered woodland through here, through the upper part of the Midwest and Northeast. and so woodland nations. And those dream catchers were really about stopping or catching those dreams that are uncomfortable to us, like night terrors and really what we would consider or label as a bad dream, right? And it would catch those dreams so it wouldn't come to us. So it was like a protection. And the way that they're placed near a window, so that the dreams that come through from a lower vibration doesn't reach you. And so it's a protection thing. And I know that definition probably has been expanded over the generations to mean that the good dreams, we'll put that in air quotes, come through the dream catcher and reach us. And now, they're found everywhere, all over the United States, Southwest and all that. And so it had taken many generations for that to happen. That didn't happen overnight. When back in the 70s, the only place you really saw them was in the upper Midwest and Northeast. And that was the only place you ever found them. Many people didn't even know about them. And then New Age information started flowing and started, expanding and moving out and flowing to other places. Yeah. Claudia, thanks for the heart eyes. Hey, Christine, one of my sisters is in the house. Good to see you here, Christine. Thank you for being here. And Annie's here too. Anne owns a campground in northeastern. It's kind of in between. In a little town near Gresham, Wisconsin. We used to live up there in Caroline, and Gresham was probably maybe a 10-minute drive from where we lived. And so Anne had her heart desire was to have a campground, and she made that happen. And so we've known Annie for a long time. Actually, Anne and Paul were friends first. They were both in the National Guard together, and serving out of one of the, I think it was it the Portage Armory or was it the Madison? I don't remember. I think it was Portage, wasn't it? Anyway, that's how we met Anne, and spent some good times together. Yeah. So anyway, here is the first card that came. Earth Guardian. Stay rooted and grounded. Stay rooted and grounded. Now, we've had the Earth Guardian before. Yeah. And, when we were talking at that time about our manifestations and a law of attraction and what we were attracting, manifesting into our physical life. And one of the things that we talked about was how we can use the gifts that we came in with, right? Our natural gifts, if you will, that we can utilize our gifts to ground those manifestations when they come into the earth plane, that we use our gifts to ground that manifestation to the earth plane. So whether we're writing about it or drawing about it or teaching about it, however we utilize our gifts is how we ground that to the earth plane, because it's up to us to do that. Our spiritual team, our guides, our angels, our spiritual teachers, they guide us, they help us, they assist us, but they can't ground that manifestation, that manifestation to the earth plane. I tell you what, in our neighborhood, in our little neighborhood here, we have a fox that goes through every once in a while. And I think it was early last week, I saw him as I was sitting here doing the live stream, and he was crossing, right? Yeah, he just did it again. So that's 2 weeks in a row I get to see him. Fox medicine. Let's find out what the author of the deck of cards, and this is the deck that we're using. It's called Angels and Ancestors Oracle Cards. And the author is Kyle Gray. And the illustrations, the artwork is done by Lily Moses. Lily Moses is in New Zealand, and Kyle Gray is from Scotland. It's part of the UK. So he writes from that perspective. So once in a while, we'll see or read his information, and it does, you can tell it coming across from somebody from the UK. And so it's the Earth Guardian, and that's on page 98. Let's see what Kyle has to say about the Earth Guardian and how it applies to the energy that's flowing today for us. So stay rooted and grounded. The message is take time to connect deeply with the energy of the earth so that you can feel supported and make decisions based on strength and integrity. And when I read that, it does speak to how we're connected to Grandmother Earth. And when we are consciously aware of our connection to her, meaning that we're grounded, we are calmer. We are, and we're more centered. And she helps us to do that. And in fact, she invites us to do that. It should be, we'll put that in air quotes again. It should be our natural way of living. It should be our lifestyle, that we are connected to her every moment. And it's so easy to do, really. Even if you live in the middle of concrete, right? When you're living downtown in an apartment, there's parks, houseplants, bringing images of Grandmother Earth to you, the ones that you just love, places that you've been that was just so beautiful and inspiring, right? That we bring it to ourselves through our imagination and we visualize it, right? That's another way we can connect to her. We can connect to her through our pets, our four-leggeds, our birds, our fish, whatever pets that we have, that we can connect to her. We connect to her through our children because we're part of nature. We're part of her. We're not separate from her, right? And so we can even connect to her through our own children, our grandchildren, our nieces and nephews. The key, though, is to connect with her and be in love with her, in love, and sending love to her. Yeah. Cindy Gray said, Fox medicine in our land last week. Nice. I know, isn't it? And this one happens to be a red fox. And so very distinctive, right? The black legs and paws and his white on his chest, and the tip of his tail, his red tail has white on it. Yeah, really pretty animal. And he actually, I don't know if it's a male or female, but he's actually been around for quite a while. We don't see him a lot, but he shows himself every once in a while. And when we were teaching a class here, I think it was Polly Joe's class, the healing energy class, I think that, I can't even remember the name of the class. So much has happened, short memory. But anyway, two of the students, I think Polly Joe and one other of the students, were on the deck behind me. And the fox was walking between the Star Nations Academy, where I'm at right now, and in my home. And they saw it. And so it was like we see a fox. Rochelle says, I just found my recording of my life script told by Carl Franklin. Listen to it tonight. Oh, that's great. That's great. I've re-listened to mine too a few times. And life scripts from Carl Franklin. Carl is one of our live stream show hosts. He and his wife, Orchard, they have the Mystery School on the last Thursday of the month at 8 p.m. Eastern. And they also are contributing writers to the magazine, Star Nations Magazine. They're teachers as well. And the services that they provide to everybody, one of them is Carl. Carl does what's called life script readings, and fascinating readings. They tell you about your purpose to being here and how often you reside in 3D, 4D, 5D, that kind of stuff. And yeah, let's see, our spiritual life. No, here. Let's see if I can find their website. I think I have it here somewhere. And we will get that up there for you guys. So anyway, grounding to the earth plane, and using that energy for us to be more centered, stronger, right? Stronger. When we're not grounded, many times people might actually make comments to you about, your energy kind of being erratic, they might actually say something like flighty. Yeah, that's because we're not grounded. And so I'm going to put Carl Franklin life scripts. Oops. I learn how to spell. And their website address. And you can go out there and find out more information about those life scripts, right? All right. Hi, Maggie. You changed your hours. Yeah, I did. Thank you for finding me again. I used to do mornings. For those of you who don't know, I used to do mornings, and I did change to the afternoon for a couple of reasons. Mornings are just really busy at my house between helping Mom with her breakfast and getting situated for the day, and cleaning up all the breakfast dishes and all that. And now we add George onto the morning routines. And I was just finding myself really getting stressed trying to get up here by 20 to 10 every morning. And so I just moved it to the 2:00. So it's so much more relaxing for me anyway. And so I'm so glad you're able to find us, Maggie. So there you go. For those people who might be interested in life scripts, there's the link. And Maggie says, "How's Mom?" I always say for 99, she's doing really well. Yeah, I find that she's sleeping more often. Little cat naps, longer cat naps than she used to take. This time of year is really hard on her physically. This is the change of seasons that seem to affect her the most. And so we're dealing with an elevated pain level, and so we're working with that. We do it every year. We do essential oils. I do hands-on healing. She does a heating pad or moist heat. Yeah. So she's doing the best she can. And so she ends up not doing a lot of projects this time of year because it's just too painful. So she reads a lot, watches. You want to talk about politics? She's there. If you want to talk about baseball, she's well versed. So those are the two things that she really likes to do. And movies. She tries to find a good movie to watch. So thank you for asking, Maggie. But she's doing pretty good for 99. Yeah. Rochelle says, I've been a little squirrely the last few days. Well, you might want to connect with Grandmother Earth. That'll calm you down. That'll stop the spinning, the mental spinning. Yeah. Yeah. Go down by the river. Spend a little time out there and really connect to Grandmother Earth. Feel her beneath your feet. Send your love to her and spend a little time with her. Yeah. That'll help. That'll help a lot. All right, so here's what else that Kyle has to say. He says the Earth Guardian represents the angels of Earth who bring the medicine of feeling grounded and strong. They are protectors of the land and the planet and can help you connect with your mission here and how you can support the evolution of the planet. Now, this is the one sentence that really jumped out at me this morning, is that it helps us, she helps us. Grandmother Earth helps us to connect with our mission here, our soul contract here, what we came here to learn and what we came here to do. She can help us with that. And how you can support the evolution of the planet. So with the evolution of the planet, she's leading the way, right? She's leading the way. Her frequency, her vibration is in the highest it's ever been in recorded history. And they record it through the hertz, right? And I think she was like at 38. I think it was 38. And sometimes even into the 40s because it fluctuates, right? And so she's leading the way. And for us to even to be here with her, we have to resonate with her. We have to vibrate, and we have to be at the same range of frequency. It's like a window of time or a window of energy that that we have to be in order to even be here with her. And so if you're here with her, and she's going from between the fourth and the fifth dimension, right? And so many of us are doing the same thing. We spend most of our time in the fourth dimension. We can feel the fifth dimension, and occasionally we can drop into the third dimension, but we don't stay there very long because you know what? It's kind of icky. It don't feel good. So we do what we have to do to raise our vibration up. And that has a lot to do with love. So when I say, Rochelle, spend some time with Grandmother Earth and send her your love, how much love that you have for her, that's going to help raise your vibration, your frequency. And the more often we do that, we remember, because we already know how to do this, we remember how to hold that higher frequency for longer periods of time. And so that is what Kyle, I believe, is writing about here when he says how you can support the evolution of the planet. So just by doing our own work, just by doing our own healing work, just by connecting to Grandmother Earth as often as we possibly can, and to tell her that you love her and really feel it in your heart for her, you're raising your vibration, your frequency. And if we all just did that just even once a day, I mean, that's when you put us all together, that's a lot. That's a lot of energy to move upward into a higher vibration. Yep. Reiki sent her way. I think Rochelle is talking about Mom. Thank you, Rochelle. Yeah. I'm sure she'll be grateful about it too. And so Kyle writes that the Earth Guardian on the card is a beautiful part angel, part elemental, showing that there are divine beings without a human gender. The staff adorned with a dream catcher shows that they have the capacity to help you ground your dreams to reality. In other words, ground your heart's desire, the things that you want to manifest in your life, to the earth plane. To the earth plane. Through because you're grounding it through your physical body, right? When you stop and think about it, that's pretty big medicine, isn't it? Because when we create, we're co-creating. When we're using the law of attraction, when we're doing that manifesting, that's big medicine in itself. But when it actually arrives on the earth plane or within your vibration, and when we ground it to the earth plane, we're using our gifts to do that, and we're grounding it through our body down into the earth, and I don't know, when I stop to think about it, stop to feel about it, that makes me happy. It makes me happy, joyful, and also very grateful. Yeah, because when we do our work that way, when we live our life that way, yeah, we're already vibrating at a much higher frequency than much of the physical, much of the other two-leggeds in the world. Yeah. How do you guys feel about that? Rochelle says, you are so gentle right now. Well, thank you, Rochelle. Yeah, because when we ground to Grandmother Earth, when we consciously do that, in the beginning, sometimes it's like we only do it now and then. We might have gone to a class or read a book or listened to a video, and we think, oh, that I love being outdoors. I like being out in the woods or out on the beach or in the mountains, and so we go out and we give it a try. And so that's our first attempt, right? And then we realize how good we feel afterwards. And then life happens and we forget to do it, and then we get a gentle nudge from spirit saying, go spend some time outside, right? And so we start building on that experience, and at some point, it becomes a habit because it feels good, and so we make time to do that, even if it's in our own backyards, right? But we make time to do it because it feels good. And eventually what happens is it becomes a natural part of your life, that even though you might be on vacation or at a conference, which is even hard to do in the beginning, when you're at a conference and you're you can feel it, you need to be grounded. You can do it anywhere, anytime. Yeah. And you know that it is a good, strong memory to do this is when you are having a really rough moment or day, like nothing goes right, from the time you get up, and then you got, with me the other day, the headache, and you're thinking, well, what the heck is going on? This is just not, it doesn't feel good. What's going on? And then all of a sudden you realize, oh, I'm not grounded, because you can feel it. And so what do? You ground because you know how to do it. Yeah. That's when you know that it's really a part of your life. Roberta says, earth grounding is so very spiritual. Yeah, it is. It really is. It really is okay, I keep hearing the word communion. That's kind of a loaded word, isn't it? Communion. But it's a communion between us and Grandmother Earth. Yeah. It's the love that we share with her and that she has for us, because she gives us everything. She nurtures us so much. She gives us everything, from our houses to our food to the water, our children. She gives us everything. And so the love that she has for us is unconditional, and it's constant. And it's constant. Because, if she didn't want us here, us two-leggeds, if she didn't want us here, we wouldn't be here. She would shake us off like a dog shakes off water. We wouldn't be here. Yeah. Yeah. Claudia is saying, sending love to Grandmother Earth through the ley lines. That's a good one too. Yeah. Because the ley lines are like her, if you know about Chinese medicine or acupuncture, right? The meridians, that's the electrical, or part of our electrical system. She has the same thing, because our bodies replicate her. So her ley lines would be our meridians that are usually used for acupuncture in Chinese medicine. Yeah. So thanks, Claudia, for reminding us that yes, we can actually use the ley lines too to send love. To send love. Yeah. All right. So Kyle goes on to say that it's important for you to take a grounded approach to your current situation. If you are rushing ahead or making a decision based on your more fearful responses, you will miss out on the growth you deserve. Take time to calm down and get grounded before proceeding any further. Breathe, relax, and connect with your center. Then consider what to do. It's important to plant seeds that's going to grow into something beautiful rather than turn into a weed that you have to deal with later. All right. So, yeah, it's just to get centered, to get grounded. And, the more often you do it, the easier it gets to do, that you can do it in a moment, in a breath. You can connect to her. Yeah. Yeah. I like it. I like it a lot because I actually do that quite often. And he said, that's why I've been offended when called a tree hugger. That's why I've never been offended when called a tree hugger. Exactly. Exactly. It's like I would thank them, because you can hear it in their voice, kind of snide, and they'd call me that. It's like, hey, my people are one of the very original tree huggers. And it's like, thank you so much. I appreciate the compliment. It makes me feel happy when people call me a tree hugger. Yeah, why not? In fact, I actually have two brothers who call me that quite often. It's like, okay, I'm glad to be that. Yeah, Rochelle says, yes, I love being a tree hugger. Absolutely. Nothing wrong with that. All right, so here's the second card that came. Druid. Druid says, hold the space. I love this card. Look what's going on in this card. Okay, there's so much. His staff, isn't that cool? Reminds me of Gandalf in a way. With the crystal at the top, looks like a quartz crystal. He's got feathers hanging off from it. And he also has some sort of fur. Can't tell what that is. Near the top of it. Right? Yeah. He's got a snake for a tattoo in that blue ink. Hold the space. And behind him is a tree. Us tree huggers behind the tree. He's got, I can't tell if that's supposed to be ivy leaves or if that are oak leaves. It would make sense that they were oak leaves, being a druid and all. Very cool. I like that card. Hold the space. And so we'll see what Kyle has to say about Druid. The message is hold things together. Hold things together. Don't make any sudden moves or changes. Stand strong, knowing you're where you're supposed to be. Knowing where you're supposed to be. And so that reminds me of that, and I used to say it quite often when I was working for the state of Wisconsin. Right place, right time, right place. Right time, right place. In other words, wherever you're at, whether you're never late and you're never early, it's the right time. And you're in the right place at that moment. Right time, right place. And I used to say that when I was stuck in traffic. And it'd take me twice as long to get home or get to the office, right? It's like right time, right place. And I say that whenever I have to wait someplace, or you're driving along and there's road construction that you weren't prepared for, didn't know it was happening on that stretch of road. And so, it's like right time, right place. Right time, right place. And it used to actually kind of be a mantra because it would calm me down rather than saying, why can't it go faster? Yeah, right time, right place. And to breathe with it. Breathe. Nice deep breath in. Right time, right place. Especially for those of us who do that shallow breathing when we have to wait and we're getting impatient. Yeah. Right time, right place. Nice deep breath. Michelle says, I like this deck. So do I. I am so glad I found this deck. I really like it a lot. Yep, and Irene, you're right. Everything happens for a reason, and it does. Sometimes we don't understand the reason, and sometimes it takes us a while to get that clarity. But the creator, spirit, has a reason for it. And at a soul level, we understand that, and we understand what's going on and why at a soul level. And so when we can calm our mental mind down and get the balance, right? Get centered, get grounded, that helps a great deal. And that's part of what the message is about. Stand strong. You're standing strong. How can you stand strong? You stand like an oak tree, solid stance, because rooted into Grandmother Earth. When we think of trees, especially oaks, and can you imagine like a sequoia or a redwood, strong like that? Their root system goes down into the earth, for miles sometimes. It's depending on how large the tree is, and their root system stretches out just a little bit past how far their longest branches are. It's called the drip line. And so the bigger the tree, the taller the tree, the deeper the roots, and they spread out quite a ways. And that's what gives them their strength, right? They're grounded into Grandmother Earth, and they're connected to Grandfather Sky through their branches. So literally they are the connection between heaven and earth, just like we are. So when we're grounded, we can bring in that energetic information, that spirit information, that light language into our field and understand it with more clarity. Yeah. No worries, Margaret. She goes, sorry, I must leave. No worries. Right time, right place. I'm just glad that you were here with us for just a little bit. That's good. Hey, Jane. Jane's in the house. She says yes to everything for a reason, right time, right place. Not always easy to learn a lesson in the moment. That's a fact. That's a fact. Because when you're in the midst of something that is pretty uncomfortable, painful, emotionally, spiritually, sometimes even physically, most definitely mentally, when you're in one of those places and somebody tells you, everything happens for a reason, you're not listening to that calmly. You're not taking that in calmly. You're probably telling them, don't tell me that. It's not true. In that moment, you can't hear that. You can't feel it either. It's not until you're grounded. It's not until you're centered and calmer that you think, okay, there's got to be a reason for all of this. So got to be patient with it, right? Gonna get in the flow of the energy. Yeah. Rochelle says your great grandma is proud of you. Probably. Yeah, and Irene saying thanks for sharing. You're welcome. You're very welcome. So what else Kyle has to say is that he says the Druids were the ancient ones of the British Isles. They had a deep connection to the earth, the sun, and the moon. They were the scholars who created the Ogham tree language, and they were known for their creative skills in storytelling, poetry, and craftsmanship. When the Druid card appears in a reading, you're being guided to dig deep within and hold your station. Now, that's quite, an English kind of saying, isn't it? Hold your station. In other words, hold your ground. Stand firm. Be strong. And he goes on to say, if you're wondering what to do next or have a sense of anxiety about what's unfolding in your life, it's time to shift your perceptions and move back to a state of trust. Don't change your plans or do anything drastic. Just trust in the process and let everything happen as it needs to before taking any more steps. Think of a tree. It has strong roots, yet continues to grow and bear fruit. Your life will be a reflection of this. So, when you put these two cards together, Earth Guardian and Druid, they're definitely, the message is about being grounded. Being grounded. Taking the moment, taking that pause to turn your attention to how you're connected to Grandmother Earth. Do I need to ground? Yes. Or if you are grounded, just taking that moment just to sense it, feel it, see it. What does it feel like for you to be grounded? Where do you feel it in all your bodies? In your physical body, what does it feel like when you're grounded? When in your emotional body, what does it feel like when you're grounded? In your mental body, what does it feel like when you're grounded? And then in your spiritual body, how does that feel when you're grounded? When you can turn your attention to that and just notice it, what it feels like. It's going to serve you 100 times better than anything else I can think of in this moment, is that you're consciously aware of it. And it's a part of your life. It's not just something you do now and again. That you are fully remembering what it's like to be connected to Grandmother Earth, to feel her love for you and how much you love her. Yeah, that's a good place to be. It's a good place to be. And I really do believe that these two cards, the Earth Guardian and Druid, are Spirit is reminding us about our connection to Grandmother Earth and how much it will help us on our Earth walk here, and doing our work for our soul contract. And when we're using our gifts and our talents, that we're a conscious spiritual being. That's a good one. A conscious spiritual being. Yeah. Claudio says Druids marked ley lines with dolmens and big rocks. Coincidence? Exactly. They're grounding it to the earth plane, right? Right. Exactly. Yeah. Earth energies, right? Earth energies. I love it. I love this conversation. I really do. This is one of the reasons why doing this live stream, this daily live stream with you guys, is it's a joyful time for me. I look forward to it, to spend this hour with you and to talk about, share our insights together, to have that spiritual conversation. I dig it. I do. All right. So remember, anything that we shared today, if it resonated with you, yay, grab it, hold on to it, embrace it. See how it fits into the flow of the energy for your day, right? Learn from it. And if you didn't resonate with it, don't worry. It's okay. It's all right. That just means it wasn't for you this time around. Maybe you're the messenger. You can share the recorded live stream, maybe with a friend that would be interested in the conversation or the information. And that's all you have to do, right? Yeah. What's going on that I need to let you know about? We're talking about the earth energies. Next Tuesday, November 20th at 8 p.m. Eastern, my weekly show, Communications from Home, my guest is Karen Crowley-Suzani. And she is one of our contributing writers for Star Nations magazine. And she, her column is called Earth Energies. And so she's coming to chat with us about her favorite sacred sites and the earth energies around those sacred sites, the sacred geometry of them, And I can't wait for that conversation to happen. And she's going to also share some pictures, so I'll have some pictures for you uploaded so we can see those with her. So join me and Karen on Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern for Communications from Home. And I'm going to get the event up and the promotions out by the end of the evening tonight, so you guys will have that. And remember, on Monday is Monday night. First up is the Paul Krauss show, and Paul and his. Oh, wait a minute. Back up just a tad, because Paul had to change the time frame of his show for this Monday. He's going to be on at 10 p.m. Eastern. 10 p.m. Eastern, because his guest, Francine Robbins, is going to be back. And, when they pair up to discuss a topic, because Francine is a psychiatric nurse. And so they always talk about very interesting things around that. And so that's at 10 p.m. Eastern on Monday night. Monday night is also Julie Hedges and the Tarot Journey. She'll be there with us. And that time for her show is 9 p.m. Eastern. All right. Tuesday at noon is Polly Jo LeBay's show, Chakra Sessions. And she'll be, of course, teaching us about the chakras, but she also has a healing meditation that she does every week on that show as well. And then come Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern is Polly Jo's back for Soul Connections. And that is an hour and a half of healing, meditation, and card draws. So if you like to have individual cards drawn for you, that's an evening that you can get a personal reading, mini reading from Polly Jo. And also, Julie Hedges, many times she'll have card readings at the very end of her show, like the last 15 minutes or so, if you'd like to have a card reading. So that's what's coming up. And hey, Julie just joined us. Hey, Julie. And we started working on the December issue of Star Nations magazine, heavily promoting the November issue. Lots of good stuff in the November issue. So we're always busy, right, at Star Nations. It's always a good time, too. So with that, enjoy the rest of your Friday. TGIF, right? Enjoy the rest of your Friday. And Bama Mina. That's in Potawatomi for until we see each other again. Love you guys.